Yes, guys, welcome back to Kosi's Arsenal podcast. My name is Kosi. Apologies for massively being late. This is, late beyond repair, but here we are, another live stream. Gonna look at all Arsenal targets 2021. That's the video. That is what this video is about. I've had a couple of requests. Kosi, who are we signing? Kosi, who are we looking at? Who is Arsenal looking at? So in this video, I'm gonna be answering that question. Basically, trying to give you details, some details of the players that Arsenal are interested in. Basically, transfer targets. So do me one favor. Hit that like button, hit that share button, and hit that subscribe button as well. Let us keep moving forward until we reach our target, which is 50,000 subscribers. Because, like I said, the first 50,000 subscribers will mean a lot. I'll be making content for those first 50,000. So make sure you've subscribed, make sure you've hit the like button. And if there is any video idea you want me to do, let me know in the comment section below. I would be glad to look at it, and I'll be glad to do you that video. So I've had a couple of questions, people trying to understand what kind of players we are linked with, and in what positions Arsenal really want to fill in the transfer summer. Like I said, we have a couple of transfer priorities, especially in terms of quality, in terms of numbers at the club. We have so many areas where Arsenal would love to change. Arsenal would love to go ahead and get in new names, go ahead and make an upgrade. And a couple of players have been linked with Arsenal. I'm so surprised that it's not even June, but we are already linked with more than 50 players. However, I might not get all the time to detail the 50 players. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go with the priority targets. So these are the confirmed major targets Arsenal is looking at this summer. So I think out of this pool that I've gathered together, we might see Arsenal at least get 1, 2, 3, or 4 players out of these around 25 players. So basically, I've grouped these players into the goalkeeping category, the back category, the midfield, the attacking midfield, and the striking category. So they are around 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They are around five categories. What I've done is try to put them together. Transfer targets in the goalkeeping department, transfer targets in the right back department, transfer targets in the left back, transfer targets in the midfield, and transfer targets on the striking line. So basically, I have a lot of names and a lot of things to discuss in this video. Like I said, just hit the like button, just hit that subscribe button, and we shall get underway already. So the first player linked with Arsenal in the first category, obviously, is the goalkeeping department. And I think the only rumors that Arsenal will go for a goalkeeper have come out of the blue, that Leno says he would want to make a move away from the club. He considers leaving Arsenal probably at the end of this season. So that has sparked a lot. That has sparked a lot of a lot of talk, especially especially following the fact that most of the times you expect Arsenal to keep their first choice goalkeeper. I've not seen Arsenal sell their first choice goalkeeper in a big time now. I remember the likes of Almunia have been there season after season. The likes of Wojciech Szczesny, after dropping through the ranks, that's when he leaves for Juventus. The likes of James Lehmann. So we have always kept our first choice goalkeeper until of recent, when Leno came out and said, you know what, I think I want to go. I think I want to leave. I'm no longer comfortable. I mean, and he said he would be open to a move away from the club. He would also be very open to a move, to stay at the club. So I think, in my opinion, what I said that before, that I think what Leno wants is a new contract. Basically, I think that's what he wants. He wants Arsenal to give him a new contract. I don't think he wants to leave. I don't see any genuine interest in him saying that he wants to leave the club and so on. So my opinion is, I think Leno will stay. at the club. But these are the transfer targets Arsenal is looking at as potential replacements of Burnley. Obviously, we need a backup goalkeeper because Runarsson has already proven to be not that quality, not that goalkeeper that you want him as backup. He cannot provide competition to Burnley. No. So the first one is Andre Onana. We have talked about Andre Onana. He's playing. He plays, or he has a contract with Ajax. He's been banned from football, from getting anywhere close to football. That is Andre Onana. And the reason as to why he has been banned from getting anywhere close to football is as simple as he used drugs. He claims he used tablets of his wife, but the substance was found in his urine, in his urine sample, and so UEFA banned him from football. So Andre Onana, he would cost us around £10 million, or even less than that, because he has 1 year left on his contract, and Ajax would want to sell him in the summer. But he has to wait for the Court of Arbitration for Sport to either reinforce or overturn the decision taken, the penalty given him by UEFA not to come anywhere close to football for a period of close to 1 year. But Andre Onana is another nice goalkeeper. If you're looking for a first choice goalkeeper, I think you can look at Onana. He's a very, very good goalkeeper. The only reason that, like I said before, the only reason disturbing him right about now is the fact that he's having this ban, and he's only he's training alone, not getting anywhere close to football. That is that is the directive given. He can't come anywhere close to football. But Andre Onana, among the goalkeeping targets, I think is the better goalkeeper. He would be my first choice. I think he's better than Matt Ryan, who, in my case, will eventually sign for Arsenal at the end of the season, but will sign as a backup goalkeeper. So I believe Onana might not sign for Arsenal, but Matt Ryan will sign for Arsenal as a backup goalkeeper. We got him from Brighton on loan in January. Obviously, we had our own issues, in the goalkeeping department. We wanted someone who could actually cover up for Alexander Runarsson, who had been so poor. So Andre Onana, Matt Ryan, and David Raya. Now we're linked with David Raya even in January. If you still remember, the Brentford goalkeeper. We are also linked with David Raya in the summer. Raya is another good goalkeeper. He's played with Brentford for some time now, and to show that he's good, Brentford were asking for close to £25 million if we were gonna get him, around £25 million. So he's a very, very highly rated goalkeeper. But I think Brentford have made it clear they do not want to sell the goalkeeper. They do not want to let go of their players. So if Arsenal is going to look at goalkeeping options at the moment, it is Andre Onana and Matthew Ryan. But in my case, I think I would go with Andre Onana. If his ban is lifted, I would go with Andre Onana because he's 25 years of age. Keep him at the club under Burnley. If Burnley eventually decides to leave, Onana can only graduate as a first choice goalkeeper. I have my own issues with Matt Ryan. He has the experience. He's 29 years of age. He's an Arsenal fan. And all sorts of things like that. But eventually, I might go for Andre Onana and Burnley. That is the goalkeeping situation I would prefer, or the goalkeeping pair I would prefer to see at Arsenal. Moving on from the goalkeeper targets to the right back targets, it looks like this is going to be one of our priority areas in the summer. The right back, and the reason as to why I think right back is going to be our priority. Hector Bellerin, there are strong reports that Bellerin will be leaving the club to go to any other club. I think he's going to make a move abroad. He has seen that he's no longer welcome at the football club. Mikel has tried whatever he can to bring back his confidence, to bring back his form. It looks like the player himself is just not good enough. And according to Fabrizio, Arsenal will be going for a right back, and Hector Bellerin will be leaving the club. In my case, I think Cedric should leave as well, permanently, not on loan. He should leave as well. Either you retain Callum Chambers or you bring back Ainsley Maitland-Niles. But for me, Cedric and Bellerin, they are two players who cannot give you one right player, even if you combine them in that right back. So we have been linked with a couple of players at right back, a couple of them, so many of them, starting with Achraf Hakimi, who Fabrizio Romano says Arsenal is in love with this player. Of course, we've been linked with Hakimi. I think it was a month ago. There were very, very strong reports that Arsenal, coming out from Italy, that Arsenal will do whatever it takes to sign Achraf Hakimi at the Emirates Stadium, to bring him down at the Emirates Stadium. And eventually, the rumors started spreading slowly that Arsenal are willing to pay the 43.3 million pounds for the right back. However, in my own case, I dismissed the story. I dismissed the rumors of Achraf Hakimi based on the prices. Reports claim that Inter doesn't want to sell, but their financial situation is a little bit awkward. It's a little bit more of it puts them in a conundrum. So I think the only way they can get out of it is try to sell some players, and of course collect money for the Champions League qualification and winning the league as well. But Hakimi, at this point in time, I don't see him as a genuine Arsenal target. Even if we wanted him, convincing the player first and foremost, that would be the hardest thing to do. I mean, if you're talking about a player coming from a title-winning club to a club that has not qualified anywhere in Europe, that would be something that is very, very unfortunate. So I don't see Achraf Hakimi make that downgrade from Inter to Arsenal, because at the moment it would be a massive, massive downgrade. So in my case, what I think is we might see Achraf Hakimi stay at Inter Milan, or probably make a big money move. I don't see Achraf Hakimi actually at any point in time. And I don't see Hakimi signing for Arsenal, but he's another genuine target. According to Romano, Arteta loves the player. He would fit in well for Mikel Arteta. Very well, because he wants to play 4-3-3 and styles like a 3-4-3. So you need those right backs that are very fast. That's one of his unique features. He's a very, very fast player. And I think he is miles and miles ahead of Hector, Bellerin, Chambers, and Cedric. He's absolutely miles ahead. Just 22 years of age, but first and foremost, the price. I don't see Arsenal signing right back for 43 million. However much we have had issues at right back, I don't see that happen. The other thing is convincing the player himself. I think Arsenal is in a very awkward situation to convince players like Hakimi. The only thing we can't think about is can we maybe, and this is just like a maybe, can we go for Achraf Hakimi next season when we have qualified for Champions League? But I don't think the situation at right back at Arsenal will permit us to wait until next season to get in a decent right back. So for me, Achraf Hakimi is a potential target, a confirmed target, but he's out. The other player is Max Aarons. Let me start with Aarons before I go to Tariq Lamptey. Max Aarons is another, should I say, realistic target. Very, very, very realistic. The only problem with Max Aarons is he's linked to so many big money moves, including Bayern, including the likes of Manchester City and Liverpool, and a couple of other clubs that are a little bit more attractive than Arsenal. But I think Max Aarons is the cheaper version of Achraf Hakimi, because the problems with Achraf Hakimi is defensive wise. Everybody knows that Achraf Hakimi defensive wise, he's a liability. Max Aarons is a little bit more solid defensive wise, and I think is a little bit better as well going forward. I think Hakimi is a little bit better than, in overall, is a little bit the better player than Max Aarons, but both of them are highly rated young centre backs. For me, the beauty with Max Aarons, and now why I think Arsenal should go for Max Aarons rather than fighting for Achraf Hakimi is Aarons is 30 million pounds, and I think that money can drop as low as 25 million pounds or 26 million pounds. It's a doable deal, but the beauty with him is he's coming from a club that has been in the Championship, and he's coming to a club that is in the Premier League, of course, Norwich is also in the Premier League. He's coming to a club, a bigger club that has been in the Premier League. So it looks like a step forward, unlike the Achraf Hakimi deal that looks like a downgrade. So I would go for Max Aarons. I think in terms of general quality, overall quality, there is no reason as why Arsenal wouldn't go for Max Aarons. But for me, I think the most likely person, the most likely target for Arsenal that could happen is Tariq Lamptey. And I'm going to give you my reason. So Max Aarons and Achraf Hakimi, those are the high-class right backs we are looking at. But I think the major focus of Arsenal will be Tariq Lamptey. He's not spent a lot of time at Brighton. I think he spent one season there. He's only signed for them last summer. But he has had a very powerful season. One of those players that you think have been the key to why Brighton will stay in the league this season. There is none other than Tariq Lamptey. So, in my own case, I think Tariq Lamptey is a good player. If Arsenal decided to go for Tariq Lamptey, I'll have no issues. However, I think he's a little bit a downgrade in terms of in terms of quality. If you compared him to Hakimi and Max Aarons, I think he is in the third category. He's in the third category. But the beauty with Tariq Lamptey is, other than Hakimi and Lamptey, he's been playing in the Premier League. That's it. Of course, Aarons has played in the Premier League before, but Lamptey has played in the Premier League last season. So he knows the touch of the Premier League. You're signing a player who's not going to have trouble fitting into the Premier League. He has met most of these wingers. He has met most of these attackers. So he knows them. That is the beauty with Tariq Lamptey. And I think he's very young, 20 years of age. You can do a lot with such a player. So I think in terms of us going for a right back, Lamptey would be the better deal to do in terms of money. I think Aarons would be the better deal to do in terms of quality. In terms of money, then it's Tariq Lamptey, because it's gonna cost you around £20 million, less than Max Aarons, less than Achraf Hakimi. The problem I have there is Brighton might want to keep him. That's the problem. Brighton might want to keep him for at least another season, because, like I said, they've been with him for only one season. They would like to have him for at least another season before they cash in on him. And the other problem you have is, if Arsenal go for Bissouma from Brighton, if we get Bissouma from Brighton, because we shall see him on the list, he's one of the very, very strong targets. The moment we sign Bissouma, I don't think we shall get two players from Brighton. It can happen. I mean, it has happened before. We've seen clubs sign two players from one team, but it's not that easy. You remember when we signed Santi Cazorla from Malaga, we wanted to sign as well Isco. We wanted to sign Isco as well in the same season, but it became very, very hard. We had to choose either Cazorla or Isco, and we went for Santi Cazorla, a decision that I've never regretted, and I will never regret ever in my life. So Tariq Lamptey, do I see him join Arsenal? Financially, financially, he's the better deal. In terms of quality, I think Max Aarons would have been the better deal. But the overall bottom line is the name called Emerson, the guy that plays for Real Betis. They've been linked with this guy before, and I think I've done a video about him around, I think 6 weeks back. And I need to do another video about this guy. Emerson is another realistic target in terms of money, in terms of quality. I think he would be an upgrade to the likes of Bellerin, an upgrade to the likes of Cedric. But first and foremost, I don't trust his defensive abilities 100%, just to be sure. I don't trust his defensive abilities 100%. And I also don't trust him to fit into the Premier League. That is it. So if you ask me, who would I go for? Who would I go for at right back? I think I might go for, overall, I'll go with Max Aarons. Arsenal should do whatever it takes to sign Max Aarons. So the targets, Arsenal targets at right back: Hakimi, Lamptey, Max Aarons, and Emerson. Now, moving on to the left back position, where we have Tierney, of course, as a regular starter. We need a backup. We've seen this season, Arsenal has struggled so much without Tierney on the pitch. And for me, it is transfer recklessness. There is nothing, we can say about that. It's transfer recklessness. We had a chance to sign in a backup left back in the summer. We didn't do that. We had a chance to sign in a backup left back in January. We didn't do that. For me, it is recklessness. There is no other word. There's no better word to explain why Arsenal have not gotten a left back until this time. We've had Nicolas who wanted to leave in the summer. Eventually, I don't know why he didn't leave, because the deal was so close. He was going to Bayer Leverkusen. Eventually, I don't know how things turned around, but he didn't move to the club. He didn't move away. In January, he moved on loan to Schalke 04. We had a chance to sign in a left back. We were linked with Ryan Bertrand in January, still remember, and we're still linked with him. But I just don't understand, and we have had so many issues. Granit Xhaka playing a left back, Cedric playing a left back, all things that really do not add up, all things that really, for me, don't make any sense. So it's gonna be another priority area in this summer to get in a backup left back for Kieran Tierney. And I think right now we have two names, but as the summer goes on, I expect more and more names to appear on the list. The first player is Ryan Bertrand, Southampton. His contract runs down in the summer. I think as a backup left back, you would go for Ryan Bertrand. 30 years of age. He has. You can tie him down to a 3-year contract. That would be a little bit, generous. I mean, we have given Willian 3 years when he was 32. That means he's, by the time his contract expires, he'll be 35. It only makes no sense. That's it. It only makes no sense. So, in my opinion, Arsenal, I should go for Ryan Bertrand. But we've been linked with players like Amavi as well from Marseille and a couple of other players. But my focus is on Ryan Bertrand, because if you're 30, you can sit on that bench. You can sit on that bench and wait for FA Cup and the Carabao Cup, because literally we don't have a chance to play in Europe. We would have said that he would play in the Europa League as well, but we don't have a chance to play in the Europa League. So for me, I would go for Ryan Bertrand. It's a free deal, so that means it's a good deal financially. And Arsenal with financial deals, we are always at it. So financially, it's one of the best deals you're gonna do. Ryan Bertrand at left back. I've considered Jordan Amavi as well from Olympique Marseille. He's been another realistic target. Arsenal looking at him, but in my own case, I think Ryan Bertrand is the better player. He has been in the Premier League. You're getting him for free. All you need to do is negotiate with him, get him the right wages, tie him to that 3-year contract with an option to add him another year if he does well at the club. That's it. So I don't think we should be spending a lot of money on a backup left back, because we're already going to spend money, a lot of money on a right back. So if you spend around £25 million on a right back, we shouldn't spend a lot of money on a backup left back. So I would go with Matt Ryan. Hit the like button if you agree with me, going for Ryan Bertrand. Okay, now the midfield, the midfield targets, I've actually grouped them into two. I've grouped them into central midfield targets and attacking midfield targets. Also, and basically why I wanted to do that is to try to create a difference and try to create urgency, because you know what, I've already said that Arsenal needs two midfielders, and most people do not understand why I say that, and particularly this only shows you that I've already said that we need two midfielders for one or two reasons. First and foremost, I think a central midfielder is a must-buy for Arsenal in the summer. An attacking midfielder is a must-buy for Arsenal in the summer. That's why I've gone for. I've categorized our midfield options, our midfield targets, into two. So I'm going to look at the central midfielders Basically, you would call them the Thomas Partey partners. And then I'm going to look at the attacking midfielders, where you have Odegaard, the likes of Emi Buendia, and a couple of others. So make sure you do not get lost. So let's start off with the central midfielders, and these ones are many. We have been linked with so many midfielders, central midfielders, only to show you that there is a deficiency somewhere in quality, especially in that midfield. I think it's a big disservice. It's been a very big disservice to Thomas Partey to sign him for £45 million, and then you play him with the likes of Mohamed El Neni, who are really just not good enough. I think that's the word. So I think one of the things we have to correct in the summer, and Mikel has said this, and a couple of other pundits have said it like Chris Whitley and Fabrizio. We want to get in a backup. We want to get in a partner for Thomas Partey. And I've already said that there are things that are going to be reckless and ruthless that we have to do. The first thing we have to do is drop Granit Xhaka from the midfield. We have to drop Xhaka. However much he's been one of our best performers this season, we've got to drop him. I've said that before, and I said again. So if you look at the central midfield targets, the first one and the top priority, according to Chris Whitley, he said Arsenal consider Yves Bissouma as their priority and long-term partner for Thomas Partey. This he said it yesterday, and I took note. Among all the names that we have been linked with in central midfield, Bissouma has come out as the most prominent. That's the word. He's come out as the most prominent. He's been so much linked with Arsenal to an extent that reports have already come out that Arsenal are confident to have won to have won the race to sign Yves Bissouma. That is how good this deal is. But will we get him? Will we not get him? It all depends on Arsenal, because Arsenal, as in the transfer window, we are linked to 30 players, we are linked to 70 players, and eventually we sign none or we sign only one of them. But the central midfield targets, Bissouma is leading. Bissouma is the leading player. Plays for Brighton, like I said. We either get Bissouma or Tariq Lamptey. I don't think we shall get both of them. He plays at Brighton. He's a central midfielder with all the qualities Arsenal will need in that midfield. All the qualities. The athleticism, the tackling, the passing, the confidence, hiding the ball, controlling the game. I think when we played against Brighton this season, he absolutely destroyed us in that midfield. He made our midfielders completely anonymous. And I think his quality shines even with the likes of Thomas Partey on that midfield. I don't think he outshines Partey, but he gives him a run for his money. I think about Bissouma as N'Golo Conte. He is in that category. The N'Golo Conte at Leicester City. If you still remember N'Golo Conte at Leicester City, I think that is Bissouma. He's gonna become a very important player. I think he's a cup winner. He is a title winner. I think he's a player you have in that midfield, and the team can win a title. So Arsenal have been linked with Bissouma, and many Arsenal fans really love Bissouma. I'm gonna tell you this, and I've told you before. Some of you back me, some of you did back me. Bissouma is a good player. I like him. I would love to see him at Arsenal. But for me, he is not the kind of player I want next to Thomas Partey. My problem with Partey is tackling. And that's why I would introduce a player like Bissouma. But the rest of things like athleticism, passing, confidence, I think Partey has that. The quality of Thomas Partey is very, very, very high. So what kind of midfield would I want to see? I wouldn't want to see Bissouma and Partey in the same midfield. No. I know, it would look good. It would be impassable. It would be impenetrable. But again, the creativity that is lacking in this team right this season won't be solved yet. So that's the reason as to why I'm not going for Yves Bissouma. but we are still looking at targets. So he's the first target, Yavis Bissouma. This next target is Nabil Fekir. We've been linked with Nabil Fekir before during the Arsene Wenger era, and you still remember we've talked about Fekir before. We've talked about Fekir all the time, and we've said that if there is a player who Arsene Wenger loved, was Fekir. He can play as a number 8. He can play that CM role. He can play as a number 10. He's a very versatile midfielder. Very, very versatile midfielder. And you're going to accept him for that. Very versatile. He's another player that we've been linked with. And of course, reports have reported him as a potential replacement of Martin Odegaard. But if I look at him, he is more of a deeper midfielder trying to get that is focused at going forward to create more chances. So I love Fekir. I really love Fekir. He's also playing with the Real Betis, and he's having a very, very tremendous season. A very tremendous season. So if you ask me, would I take Nabil Fekir? I would take him, but ultimately he's not my target in CM. The other player we've been linked with and so closely has been Houssem Aouar, and reports have also come out and say that Arsenal could be lucky that their target, Houssem Aouar, will be available for less than £30 million, in the summer. Been linked with Houssem Aouar for some time now, and I know it's a little bit frustrating, isn't it? Last season we wanted Aouar, we couldn't reach the valuation. I believe Arsenal really realistically wanted the player. I know we realistically wanted the player, but I don't believe in the stories that the player wanted to stay and so on. I think we failed to meet the target. That's the truth. We failed to meet the target, and eventually the deal didn't come through. So this season this summer we have a chance to sign him. Would I take him over Bissouma? I don't know, but he's another interesting player to watch. He wants Champions League football. He wants to leave Lyon. He wants Champions League football. We wait to see what actually happens with that deal. So you've been linked with Bissouma, Zakaria, Guido Rodriguez, Camavinga, Somare, and Bissouma. Those are the central midfield partners for Thomas Partey that Arsenal has eventually been linked with all of a sudden. Moving forward, still in the central midfield, I think Bukayo Somare will be moving to Leicester City. Somare will be moving to Leicester City. Camavinga, I don't see that deal happen. Guido Rodriguez, that is an interesting one because it looks like it's only Arsenal interested in Guido Rodriguez. So we might see Arsenal getting Guido Rodriguez or Bissouma or Zakaria. Zakaria plays with Borussia Mönchengladbach, and a couple of clubs are interested in his services, from Manchester City to Manchester United. He's another good CM, another very, very good central midfielder. So if Arsenal can go for Zakaria, he's a real baller. But eventually, I think where Borussia Mönchengladbach players go. He might go to Borussia Dortmund at the end of the day. Just for that. But I think if Arsenal can do it, it would be a good deal if we went for Zakaria. Now, in the attacking midfield options, this is where it's even more interesting, because I think Arsenal have had a disease of not creating enough chances. It's been really, really a big disease, a big disease. Creating chances. It's been a very big problem. From last year in December, I think last year from September, our problem has been creating enough chances. This season, we've been riding off the back of an on-loan player in Martin Odegaard, a young player in Smith Rowe, and bukayo Saka. Those are the people. Those are the only players that have been adding some sense of creativity to the club. But the reports have it that Arsenal will go for an attacking midfielder, and these are our options. In central midfield, my ultimate player to play next to Thomas Partey, I didn't go with Bissouma. I went with Hausemoa. I think if Arsenal gets if Arsenal get the chance to sign Hausemoa, you have much, because for me, I think first and foremost, he loves playing on that left-hand side of the midfield. That's the first thing. And then you have a player who is not so similar to Thomas Partey. So you have what Partey can't do, Aouar can do. What Aouar can't do, Partey can do. So they will complement each other. So I went with Hausemoa. I dropped Bissouma. But in attacking midfield options, we've been linked with Emi Buendia, Martin Odegaard, Hakan Çalhanoğlu, and Mikel Oyarzabal. Mikel Oyarzabal is another interesting player to watch. Very, very interesting player to watch. Spanish and very interesting to watch. But I think the realistic targets for Arsenal this summer might be Emi Buendia and Martin Odegaard. I think those are the two creative options Arsenal would be looking at. The likes of Hakan Çalhanoğlu, those ones, I think we've been linked with him because he is a free agent. Because he's a free agent, and Arsenal, of course, with free agents. But I don't see Arsenal go for Hakan. However much it would be a very good deal to do. We've also been linked with Paulo Dybala. So I'm going to discuss Emiliano Buendia, Martin Odegaard, and Paulo Dybala. I think those are three realistic targets we can go for. The first one is Emi Buendia. Been linked with Emi Buendia since January. Actually, since the closure of last summer, we've been linked with Buendia almost on a daily basis. Emi Buendia. And he's just come off he has had an interesting season, a very interesting season in the championship with Norwich. Something that I think Arsenal must be interested in, because if you have a player, if you've been linked to the player and he has had a very good season, probably you need to take a look. And I think Arsenal need to take a look. So the first option I think to do for Arsenal, go for Emi Buendia. He will cost us around £40 million, but nevertheless, I would do the deal. So Emi Buendia is one of them. Martin Odegaard, of course, is our priority according to reports. We will want to keep Martin Odegaard first before we do anything else. And eventually, we are also looking at Paulo Dybala, but I don't think Paulo Dybala will want to move from Juventus to Arsenal. So I think the most realistic two targets in attacking options are Martin Odegaard and Emiliano Buendia. Both of them are doing really well, so I can't say go for this or go for this one. But if we have a chance to retain Martin Odegaard, I would keep him. I would really keep him. If we have a chance to retain to get Emi Buendia, I'll take him as well. So, and then on the other striking targets we have is Patson, Daka, Ivan Toney, and Odegaard. Odegaard would cost us around 15 million. Ivan Toney would cost us around 15 million as well, and Patson Daka would cost us around 15 to 17 million. So, literally, these are Arsenal's in a summation. These are Arsenal's transfer targets for this summer. Andre Onana. In goal, Andre Onana, Matt Ryan, David Raya. Right back targets, Ashraf Hakimi, Lamptey, Max Aarons, and Emerson. Ryan Bertrand in left back, Bissouma, Zakaria, Aouar, Guido Rodriguez, Camavinga, Somare in the midfield. And then attacking options, we have Buendia, Odegaard, Hakan Çalhanoğlu, and Mikel Oyarzabal. Strikers, Patson, Daka, Ivan Toney, and Odegaard. Those are our transfer targets. So I'll be back later to discuss more and more and more. Thanks.